Is it weird that I only realized that this actually has a bookmark? I really haven't used this bookmark before. Oh dear. Hello friends, welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, welcome. My name is Trina. In today's video, I am going to be flipping through my June pages for my anime companion notebook. So this notebook houses all of my thoughts, reactions, and note-taking when it comes to me watching an anime or an animated movie. Sometimes for study purpose, sometimes for analyzing plot lines and such, but most of the time it's just for ranting and for spazzing on the different shows that I'm actually watching. So for the month of June, I have created this challenge for myself wherein I list down 20 titles and then number them from 1 to 20, of course, and roll a 20-sided die. And whichever side the die or the number comes up, that is the show that I am going to watch. So before anything else, I actually made a script of this. I'm actually filming this for the second time actually, because the first one I gave a lot of spoilers and a lot of rants, and it doesn't really seem like a pleasant viewing experience for you. So I actually made a script here, hoping that I won't get to the 1 hour 30-minute mark again. But yeah, there will be some mild spoilers. I will do my best to not give out that much. However, if you would like to be completely blind when watching these shows, I will show the list real quick of the ones that I will be talking about today right here. So the ones that are highlighted in green are the ones that I have watched for the month of June. I have watched, so this is 15 out of 20 for the first one. I have added 5 more, so I have completed 20 titles for the month of June. So I say 20 because in the addition to Yamada-kun and the Seven Witches and Dead Mount Deathplay, I also watched Season 2 of Cardfight Vanguard Overdressed and 1 and 2 of Well Dressed, but I didn't list them down here. So those are the titles that I will be discussing today, and if you want to, as I said, go blind into it, then this video is not for you because I might say something that is quite spoilery. I will go through this in the order of when I watched it. So the first one that I got was actually Bungo to Alchemist, which is very funny because Bungo to Alchemist is number 1 in my list, and I rolled a 1 on the video that I created previously for this challenge. So Bungo to Alchemist is basically popular Japanese authors getting stuck in their own books, and these monsters, we call taints, try to rewrite the story and eventually causing all of these books to disappear in real life. So the whole premise of, or the lesson you learn in this whole anime, this is not entirely a spoiler, but it's very explicit, that they show the effects of when popular literature and books disappear in the real world, what their effects are, especially to the people that were saved by books. As readers, most of us also can sympathize with this. When what if our favorite books suddenly disappear, it leaves an empty gaping hole in our heart. So yeah, it's the same concept. However, I can understand why people would rate this very low. I rated this actually as a 9 out of 10 because I know most of the stories that are in this anime. So they reference a lot of the stories by famous authors, like the popular ones that we know: Osamu Dazai, Nakahara Chuya's poetry, Ryunosuke, Akutagawa Ryunosuke, Oda Sakunozuki, all of those famous authors. But some are very deep cut, some are obscure, some, or majority, if you are not really interested in Asian literature or Japanese culture and literature in general, you won't get the references of these in the stories and their own relationships between each of the authors in real life. I for one know half or more than half of the stories and of the people that are in here, so I could relate as much. However, the whole story of Bungo to Alchemist was somehow linked to Gears of Akutagawa Ryunosuke, which is why the whole title of this anime is Bungo to Alchemist Gears of Judgment. So I had to listen to an audiobook of Gears after I watched this, just to understand the whole premise, or the whole reference to the plotline. And I also should probably read Rashomon as well. But anyway, next we have here Cataster of an Insect Cage. This is a dystopian sort of post-apocalyptic anime wherein people get turned into bugs which they call kagaster. It is like a disease caused by an incident for like in the past of this world, and the main character is actually an like exterminator, wherein he offs all of the people who are manifesting this disease, and like before they turn completely into bugs, which makes them harder to kill. So it is quite a harsh anime wherein this character is being a stigma to society because he offs people even though the symptoms are just very small. However, there is no cure. Once you start to manifest the symptoms of being a kagaster, you will 100% turn into a bug, so that is his duty. And if you're reading my entry, kagasters are actually supposed to be used for military. It is like a bioweapon, the normal cliche sci-fi apocalyptic anime wherein they experiment on humans to create weapons of mass destruction for the military, and it goes wrong. However, my only complaint with this anime is like the romance subplot, as well as like them being like there's sexual hints or teasing between the main character and the main supporting girl, or the main girl in this anime, and the main girl is actually just 14 years old. So like, it's problematic. I still give it an 8 out of 10, but that is like the biggest complaint that I have for this anime. It's not the animation style, which is kind of wonky here and there, especially during the fight scenes. It's the romance subtext between this guy who I assume is like 17 or 18, maybe older, and a 14-year-old girl, so it's problematic. Next I have here is Campfire Cooking in Another World. This is one of my favorites by far for this month. This is about a usual isekai plot wherein a person dies in the modern world, gets transported into this fantasy world as a summoned hero. However, the main character is having a skill that is deemed useless to the kingdom, and therefore he was like, I am probably not useful to you, so I will be on my way and live my own life. And the kingdom just gave him hush money so that he won't like leak the plot and cause chaos throughout the kingdom. And so that's what he did. His skill is actually online bargaining or online shopping, wherein he could buy anything from online shops in the real world, and it's very cheap in price compared to the money that he earns in this world, this fantasy world. And so what he discovered is that his cooking actually, or like consuming things that are bought from the real world, actually buffs your stats in this world. So basically that is supposed to be his use. He is, if you play RPGs or like MMORPG games, it's mostly, his role is like a merchant class, and that is what he is. He is more of a merchant compared to a adventurer, although he is both. It's still very refreshing, and I really adore the characters in this. Most of them are very cute and very OP, and I really enjoy watching the main character cook. Most of his cooking are very delicious to watch, and it really also motivates me. Whenever he cooks, I get motivated to cook as well. So I really recommend this anime if you just want like a wholesome isekai fantasy that is not too overbearing and overpressure with like adventuring and like killing the Dark Lord or the Demon Lord or something. But it's still almost the same plot line, only more cooking than adventuring. Next we have here Kakuryo Bed and Breakfast for Spirits. This story is a romance otherworld concept wherein this girl can actually see spirits from the hidden realm known as Ayakashis, and her grandfather, who has the same ability, taught her how to cook for the Ayakashis in order to protect her. However, when her grandfather died, her grandfather had a huge debt to an Oni god, and as collateral, it was the girl's hand in marriage. And so the girl was like, I don't agree to this, I will earn in order to repay the debt. And it's kind of like a cliche sort of story wherein this human girl goes to the spirit's world and she basically saves everyone in that story, even though everyone hated her at first because, of course, spirits are all powerful and humans are like their luxury food of some sort, especially a human girl that is still a virgin and very young age. And so it's very wholesome sort of romance, but the romance part is very slow for my case. However, I did like feel that I ship her with another spirit more than the Oni god, but still it's kind of adorable how this world gradually got better, and all of the infighting and the family problems between spirits and between different people here got resolved because of how wholesome and motherly the main character is. So yeah, 8 out of 10, but I still recommend this. Next we have here Buddy Daddies. I actually gave this a 7 out of 10. It is not quite one of my favorites. So the story of Buddy Daddies is that two hired hitmen were in a mission to assassinate one mafia boss. However, there is this innocent little girl who got into the mix of their mission, and they were trying to save her. And in order to save her, one of the hitmen posed as her dad, who she was looking for. And surprisingly enough, the main character who said that he was her father actually looks very much like her biological father. However, with all of the chaos that this little kid have caused for these two hitmen, they finally discover that there is life beyond just being hired hitmen, and how they could turn their life around because of one innocent little girl that they wish to take care of. And the only thing that threw me off is that maybe it's because Yeika from Yakuza's Guide to Babysitting is now setting the standards for me for like Iyashike childcare anime. Granted that Miri here, the child in Buddy Daddies, is very much younger compared to Yeika, therefore more chaotic and more like uncontrollable. However, it's still very wholesome. So if you are not quickly annoyed with baby kids, then you can go ahead and watch. It's kind of it's very wholesome, as I've said, and like puts you into perspective that even bad guys can change, so to speak, because of one innocent kid. Next, we have here The Case of Hannah and Alice. This is a movie that I have been looking forward ever since I saw the synopsis of this. However, as you can see, I have so many things in mind. I gave this a 5 out of 10 because I am very disappointed in this anime actually. So the story is that this girl Alice moved into this town, and of course a new school, and the place that she is sitting on, like the seat that she sat on, actually belongs to a kid who was rumored to be killed. The rumor goes Judas was killed by one of his 4 wives and therefore haunts that seat. And therefore Alice has been bullied because people think that she's like possessed or something, or like she's about to be possessed because she's sitting on Judas' seat. So Alice decided to investigate with the help of her neighbor Hannah, who is actually one of her classmates and sitting right behind Judas' seat. My only complaint for this is that it is such a waste of time. So they were like investigating or wanting to tail the father of this kid to see whether or not he has really died or disappeared. However, Alice, for like 20 or 30 minutes in the movie, tailed the wrong person, and it annoyed me to no end because there is like a whole lull of the story. It was supposed to get exciting, like discovering the mystery behind this rumor and how this rumor came about. And then here is Alice running around the whole like downtown of the city, knowing nothing because she's new to this town, and just being lost with this old man she was tailing that is the wrong person. However, the old man was nice enough to give her a ride or money ride back to where she was supposed to be. But still, also the story of how the rumor happened is like so lackluster for me. It's also very stupid of this kid. But if you want to watch it, then go with it if you're curious about the rumor like I did. However, I really think that it was really a waste of time to watch this, even though it's like an hour and a half long movie that I watched in ×2 speed because I got very impatient. Next we have here is Talentless Nana. This is also one of my favorites. It puts a twist on the usual superhero school narrative. I gave this a 9 out of 10 because instead of like the usual common plot lines of superhero schools like My Hero Academia, wherein they nurture the kids in order to become heroes of their society, these kids were sent to a school in a remote island in order to be trained to like defeat the enemies of humanity, our society, or what you call that. However, Nana here, she's called talentless because those with abilities are called talents. So Nana is one that is sent by the government in order to one by one kill off the rest of the class because they, spoiler alert, is the enemies of humanity. Because most of the kids here, you will find that you won't pity as much because they are very egotistic, they are very narcissistic, they think that they should rule the world because they are very special. And so it was Nana's mission to one by one make them go bye-bye or disappear without letting other students know that she was the one who was the hired assassin for the class. And so throughout the whole series, Nana starts to like doubt her mission, as she has encountered some of the students that would go out of their way to save her or sacrifice their life in order for her to survive, and she has met friends there that she remotely trusts. And so that is the whole plot to Talentless Nana. It's very psychological as well. They're playing mind games with each other as Nana tries to blame other people in order to save herself and not make other people suspect her. So it's more of a very like Among Us sort of storyline. Next we have Classroom of the Elite 2. This is like season 2 of a very smartly done psychological horror anime, wherein I have placed here quite a bit of triggers. So if you haven't watched season 1 or this whole anime entirely, I suggest that you look through like triggers first. If you are easily triggered with like sabotage, like bullying, manipulation, gaslighting, like a lot of abuse, abuse of power, kidnapping, and also like torture. Although there's not really much like gory torture, but there is still physical and mental torture within this season too. But still, if you are fine with that, I still recommend this because it is very smartly done. And although some of the like plots are like you think you know what will happen, but there is a twist beyond the twist. So yeah, it is one of my favorites as well, and I'm looking forward to season 3 of this. I think we are, nope, we're not halfway there. ACA 13, Territory Inspection Department, is also one of my favorites for this month. 9 out of 10. The story goes is that the main character is a inspector or like an auditor for their government sort of system, which is ACA. So think of it as ACA is their government services, the police, fire force, postal, everything that is under the Kingdom of Dowa, which is their monarchy. So the main character goes to all of the 13 territories, auditing their own departments, whether or not the government has like what do you call that, corruption in the government, and how each territory is going. So in this peaceful time, the king of Dowa is actually very ill and very old. So there is this rumor that he is going to pass the crown to the crown prince, which is his grandson. However, the crown prince wants to abolish ACA and wants all of the 13 territories to be a single territory under the crown of Dowa, which in a way is very counterproductive when it comes to this whole setup of the ACA system, because the reason why, this is not a spoiler, they tell you this right off the bat, wherein the 13 territories are like the way for this whole country or kingdom of Dowa to have peace within each of the territories or states or areas that they have, because this happened before, wherein all of the territories are in war because they don't agree with having just one singular governing body, and that they are losing their autonomy as each of the state, because all 13 states or 13 territories have their own cultures, have their own like unique rule sets that are still mandated by the ACA, or like they are still like in control by the ACA. However, they have their own like government, like their own local governments. It took me so much in order to explain this, but each of the state has their own local government, so to speak. And all of the 13 territories are very unique in a way wherein they look like manifestations of in real life countries, like a part of their history and their culture. And it's very interesting to see how all of these 13 territories are like traveled to in just 12 episodes. And so it's plot twist after plot twist after plot twist as well. And I really enjoyed it, and I hope, I really recommend this. I hope you also watch ACA 13 Territory. It is in Bilibili, so it's kind of easy to watch if you just download the app. Next, we have here 2 movies, To Every You That I've Loved Before, and To Me, The One Who Loved You. So this is an anime that I actually saw at TikTok, and the description said depending on what movie you watch first, the whole like ending to the movie changes drastically for you. However, upon watching this, I don't know which one I would want to watch first, so I let the dice actually choose which one. I rolled a 10 before I rolled an 11, so that is why I started with To Every You That I've Loved Before. So basically, these 2 stories are parallel universes to each other, wherein the main character, after the divorce of his parents, one story is that he chose his mom, and the one To Me, The One Who Loved You, he chose his dad to live with his dad. So those are the 2 parallel worlds. And His dad was a scientist who studies these parallel worlds. That's why this whole sci-fi plot exists. However, if I were to suggest, and if you would like a suggestion onto what to watch first, I say that you watch To Me, the One Who Loved You first, because the only difference I think between these two that is a major like change, or a drastic change between two timelines, is that he had different love interests. However, both of these animes are like talking to each other, or like referencing each other. But to get a clearer storyline, a clearer plot line, and you can understand more the inner workings of this world, I suggest you watch this first, because this story references this more than the other way around. So like this story is the cause, or like the reason why this timeline exists, or this story was shown. So in a way it's complicated, but it's very sad. So like I did not really cry, but it's still very tragic, and also like a very sad love story. So if you're interested in that, I also recommend this, but I highly suggest you start with To Me, the One Who Loved You before, To Every You That I've Loved Before. Next we have here is Strawberry Marshmallow. I don't really have that much to say about this other than I'm very annoyed with it. I actually wanted to watch this because I have found memes with regards to this anime, but I gave it a 6 out of 10, and it kind of made me not want to have children because of this, because it's as a person, I really like kids. However, I don't like the kids that don't know when to stop. Like, it's very annoying for me. I got frustrated, so I didn't enjoy that as much. Next we have here No Game No Life Zero. This is the prequel to the No Game No Life series. I suggest you watch the series first before this movie to get a better context of the world. So basically, if you have watched that already but not this one, this is the history, or like the backstory of how this board came to be, or like why their rules was established, and why they take it to playing games in order to resolve arguments. And there were like 16 sentient beings who were fighting to become the one true god. So it is like a war between gods, and the people are like collateral damage for them. However, one of the main characters, the people there, Riku, and an ex machina, developed a theory and the rule sets of how to survive in this world, and how to manifest the one true god. So in a way, there is also romance in this story, and this is how the whole world of No Game No Life came into being. So I won't talk much about that anymore. 8 out of 10. I enjoyed it for the most part. Next we have here Cardfight Vanguard Overdress, seasons 1 and 2. I will also include actually Will Dress 1 and 2 here, just so it's just one complete story. The first 2 seasons, Overdress, is actually more of like a, what do you call this, backstory drama of each of the characters. Yu, the main character, met Team Blackout, which is like a team who get together to play Cardfight Vanguard. They settle disputes through card fights, and Yu found friendship in them. And so there are a lot of family drama in this, like personal character drama for the first 2 seasons. That's why I gave it a 7 out of 10. I am more I enjoy Well Dressed more, because I play Cardfight Vanguard, so I understand the mechanics of this. So I understand if like you don't play Vanguard, you won't understand this, because I think, what I actually think in all honesty, is that the anime is like a way for Bushiroad to market their new cards and their new decks, and like show you how these cards work and entice you to play. So yeah, I like Will Dress 1 and 2 more, 9 out of 10, because it's more like back-to-back tournaments and card fights. And Will Dress, Overdress 1 and 2, there is shonen ai like hints and subplots. So that is the comedy that they're going for, because Yu from the get-go is being cross-dressed by his sisters and mother. He really looks like a girl when they put a dress on her. And that's why it's very fitting, because it's called Overdress. However, when they came to Will Dress is more of like sci-fi strategy game. So they really removed the comedy and they went full force with the sci-fi, and I enjoyed this more. So yeah, not really much of like I recommend it. However, if you're interested in the world of Cardfight Vanguard, it's very nice to just binge watch. Everything is in their Cardfight Vanguard YouTube channel, and it's also like organized per playlist per season, so it's very easy to just watch. Next, we have here Mayuiga, or The Lost Village. So from the get-go, this anime actually threw me for a loop, because the story here is that all of these people have their own like personal traumas and like personal problems with their lives, and they were willing to throw their life away in order to go to this tour, as they marketed it, to a lost village that is off the grid, not found in any map, in order to start a new life. Each of the characters is very unique in a way in their own struggles, and that they don't really mesh well with each other. So when they reached this village, miraculously, they started seeing monsters, and these monsters actually manifest their trauma that they're trying to run away from. However, one of the characters in here do not see any of the monsters, and somehow she also admitted that she has been to this village before, and this was her second time. And then what they thought of, like the majority of the people voted on, was that she was like the cause of all of these hallucinations of the traumas and of the monsters, and that they started a witch hunt for her. And what's funny about this is that in all of this mass hysteria sort of situation, they deemed the girl as a ghost, and yet they were doing this ritual-esque wherein they will stab her to death. And like, if you believe that she was a ghost, why would you like stab her? Why would you like stab a ghost? So yeah, the only thing about this that I really don't like is the ending. So this is like a spoiler already. With all of this mass hysteria of like their trauma manifesting as monsters, this whole island was actually an experiment. Like an experiment on how big the monster could get, and how you could control that monster by accepting your traumas. And it's only in this village that the traumas manifest. Actually, it's a weird, like, mysterious happenings within this island, and a scientist is trying his best to study it. However, once you did manage to accept your trauma as your own, or like it's a part of you, they just suddenly woke up inside the bus as if nothing happened. So I was like questioning like whether or not this is all just like a dream of some sort, or like what is the point of this. I know it's like very supposed to like be a lesson wherein all of your traumas and your problems are like a part of you that you have to accept and like move forward with and like acknowledge. But yeah, the story, or like the whole synopsis, was very interesting, but how they made the anime and the story was like very messy for me. So yeah. And the very last one, finally, these are additions. These were not part of my 20 titles that I've chosen for the die roll. Yamada-kun and the Seven Witches. This is like a romance comedy sort of anime, wherein in the school there were 7 witches, or like 7 students, where they call them witches, who possess supernatural abilities like switching bodies, charming people, telepathy, can see the future, can see the past traumas, invisibility, or like the ability to erase memories. And if these 7 witches were gathered in this ritual place near a church behind their student council office, they were able to grant one wish to the one who gathered them. However, the only way that these witches could manifest their power was actually through kissing. So I really laughed at this one line wherein one of the witches said that kissing out of the blue is a very stereotypical witch behavior. So it's basically like harem comedy school, and it's just all fun and very drama. So my friend actually recommended this to me. I gave it a 7 out of 10. And it's actually very amusing. It really entertained me for a bit. And it's very quick to watch actually. It's also in like Anyone in YouTube if you are interested in that. And the very last one, also I think in Anyone, but I watched this in Bilibili, Bedmount Death Play. I actually saw a clip of this in Facebook. That was what got me interested in it. The part wherein the main character returned to his father's house, and the father was like, be honest with me, who are you? You are not my son. And I was like wondering how that happened. So it is very gory, and it is like a reverse isekai, if you will. It is from the fantasy world reincarnated into the modern Japan world, wherein this necromancer called Corpse God was about to be killed by the hero of the fantasy world, and he casted a reincarnation spell before he died. So he was reincarnated in the body of a child who was just killed, like maybe right at the same moment as he was. So he got transferred there, and this kid was actually being assassinated because he was like an heir to like a big conglomerate or something. So he was being targeted. And when Corpse God entered this body, the assassin was like confused why he was still alive. And so they formed like a very unlikely friendship with all of like the assassins of this organization, and also like the information brokers and such. And throughout the story, Corpse God only wanted to like have a peaceful life. So he wanted to get a job, he wanted to get like a place to stay wherein he will be at peace. And he's a very like very soft when it comes to children. So he manifested his necromancer power by saving a bunch of kids in a burning orphanage. And so that is how the mystery started. Who is this person who has magic in a real modern world? However, throughout the episodes, there is this one case wherein he had nothing to do with it at first. However, it kind of linked. It was like a symbol that linked him, this world, and his past world, the fantasy world. So he was like wondering how that world that he has been got like transferred to this world. So that is the mystery that has ended in season 1, and there is actually announcement for season 2 of this. So I'm very excited to see how his world and this modern Japan world connects. And so that is it for all of the anime that I have watched, all 20 of them for the month of June. And I hope this is not as long as the previous one that I have filmed, but still, if you have any other comments and suggestions on like what anime to watch next, feel free to leave them down in the comments below. I would really like to talk about more of these if you have watched any of these, and if you do not agree with some of my commentary on this anime, leave them down as well and we'll talk about it. So that is it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today and for staying until the end. I will see you in the next video. So until then, guys, take care and